Catalonia is an autonomous community of Spain, designated a nationality by its Statute of Autonomy. Catalonia comprises 4 provinces: Barcelona, Girona, Lleida, and Tarragona. The capital and largest city is Barcelona, the second largest city in Spain, and the center of one of the largest metropolitan areas in Europe, and it comprises most of the territory of the former Principality of Catalonia, with the remainder now part of France. Catalonia is bordered by France and Andorra to the north, the Mediterranean Sea to the east, and the Spanish regions of Aragon and the Valencian Community to west and south respectively. The official languages are Spanish, Catalan, and Aranese. In the 10th century the eastern counties of the March of Gothia and the Marca Hispanica became independent from the Frankish kingdom, uniting as vassals of Barcelona. In 1137 Barcelona and Aragon formed the Crown of Aragon, and Catalunya became a maritime power and the main base for the Crown of Aragon's naval power and expansionism in the Mediterranean. Medieval Catalan literature flourished. Between 1469 and 1516, the King of Aragon and the Queen of Castille married and ruled together their kingdoms, retaining all their distinct institutions, courts, constitution. During the Reapers' War, Catalonia rebelled against the presence of Castilian army in its territory, becoming a republic under French protection. Under the terms of the Treaty of the Pyrenees in 1659, which ended the wider Franco-Castillian War, Castile agreed with France to cede it the northern parts of Catalonia, mostly incorporated in the county of Roussillon. During the War of the Spanish Succession, the Crown of Aragon sided against Philip V of Spain, whose subsequent victory led to the abolition of Catalan institutions and the imposition of the Castilian ones, and the replacement of Catalan with the Spanish language in public life. Despite the Napoleonic and Carlist wars, Catalonia experienced economic growth and industrialization. During the second half of the 19th century, the region saw a cultural renaissance coupled with incipient nationalism, while several workers' movements appeared. In 1913, the 4 Catalan provinces formed a commonwealth, and with the advent of democracy during the Second Spanish Republic, the Generalitat of Catalonia was restored. After the Spanish Civil War, the Francoist dictatorship enacted repressive measures, abolishing Catalan institutions and banning the official use of the Catalan language again. During the 1950s and 1960s, Catalonia saw significant economic growth and became an important tourist destination, drawing many workers from across Spain and making Barcelona one of Europe's largest industrial metropolitan areas. Since the Spanish transition to democracy, Catalonia has recovered political and cultural autonomy and is now one of the most economically dynamic regions of Spain. The Catalan government has announced its intention to hold a referendum on possible independence from Spain in 2014. Etymology and pronunciation: the name Catalunya began to be used as homeland of Catalans in the late 11th century, probably used before as a mere territorial area in reference to a group of counties that comprised part of the March of Gothia and March of Hispania under the control of the Count of Barcelona and his relatives. The origin of the name, Catalunya, is subject to diverse interpretations because of a lack of evidence. One theory suggests that Catalunya derives from the name Gothia or Gothia, since the origins of the Catalan counts, lords and people were found in the March of Gothia, known as Gothia, whence Gothland, Gothlandia, Gothalonia, Catalonia theoretically derived. During the Middle Ages, Byzantine chroniclers claim that Catalonia derives from the local medley of Goths with Alans, initially constituting a Gothalonia. Other less plausible theories suggest Catalunya derives from the term land of castles, having evolved from the term castler, the medieval term for the ruler of a castle. This theory therefore suggests that the names Catalunya and Castile have a common root. The source is of Celtic origin, meaning chiefs of battle. Although the area is not known to have been occupied by Celts, a Celtic culture was present within the interior of Iberia in pre-Roman times. The Lusitani, an Iberian tribe that lived in the area and whose name, due to the Roman influence, could have evolved by metathesis to Catalans and then Catalans. In English, Catalonia may be pronounced or. The native name, Catalunya, is pronounced K unregistered trademark TE unregistered trademark EEA squared E unregistered trademark and Central Catalan, the most widely spoken variety whose pronunciation is considered standard. The Spanish name is Catalunya plus or minus a, and the Aranese name is Catalonha. History. In pre-Roman times, the area now called Catalunya, like the rest of the Mediterranean side of the Iberian Peninsula, was populated by the Iberians. Coastal trading colonies were established by the ancient Greeks, who settled around the Roses area. Both Greeks and Carthaginians briefly ruled the territory in the course of the Second Punic War and traded with the surrounding Iberian population. After the Carthaginian defeat by the Roman Republic, Catalonia became the first area of Iberia to come under Roman rule, and became part of Roman Hispania, the westernmost part of the Roman Empire. Tarraco, now called Tarragona, was one of the most important Roman cities in Hispania. After the fall of the Western Roman Empire, the area was conquered by the Visigoths and was ruled as part of the Visigothic kingdom for almost 2.5 centuries. In 718, it came under Muslim control and became part of the Umayyad province of Al-Andalus. From the conquest of Roussillon in 760 to the conquest of Barcelona in 801, the Frankish Empire took control of the area from the Muslims and created the counties that would later become known as Catalunya. These counties formed part of the March of Gothia and March of Hispania, a buffer zone in the south of the former province of Septimania and in the northeast of the Iberian Peninsula, to act as a defensive barrier for the Frankish Empire against the Moors of Al-Andalus. In the Middle Ages, these counties became the basis for Catalonia under the rule of the Counts of Barcelona. The Counts of Barcelona were Frankish vassals nominated by the Emperor of the Franks, to whom they were feudatories. In 987, Wilfrid the Hairy, Count of Barcelona, did not recognize Hugh Capet, making his successors de facto independent of the Carolingian crown. In 1137, Ramon Berenguer IV, Count of Barcelona, decided to accept King Ramiro II of Aragon's proposal to marry Queen Petronila, establishing the dynastic union of the County of Barcelona with the Kingdom of Aragon, creating the Crown of Aragon and making the Catalan counties that were united under the County of Barcelona into a Principality of the Aragonese crown. In 1258, by means of the Treaty of Corbeil, the Count of Barcelona and King of Aragon, of Mallorca and of Valencia, James I of Aragon renounced his family rights and dominions in Occitania and recognized the King of France as heir of the Carolingian dynasty. The King of France formally relinquished his nominal feudal lordship over all the Catalan counties, excepting the county of Foix despite the opposition of the King of Aragon and Count of Barcelona. This treaty transformed the region's de facto union with Aragon into a de jure one and was the origin of the definitive separation between both geographical areas, Catalonia and the Languedoc. As a coastal territory of the Crown of Aragon, Catalonia, Barcelona in particular, became the base of the Crown maritime dominion and led the expansion, the power and the influence of the Crown of Aragon in the Mediterranean. Gradually, new territories such as the Kingdom of Valencia, the Kingdom of Majorca and later Sardinia, the Kingdom of Sicily, Corsica and Duchy of Athens were incorporated under the dynasty of the House of Aragon and Barcelona into the crown. In the 12th century, under the patronage of the Counts of Barcelona, a Catalan literature first appeared and flourished in the next few centuries. The domains of the Crown of Aragon were severely affected by the Black Death pandemic and by later outbreaks of the plague. Between 1347 and 1497, Catalonia lost 37% of its population. In 1410, King Martin I died without surviving descendants. As a result, by the Pact of Caspe, Ferdinand of Antequera from the Castilian dynasty of Trastamara received the crown of Aragon as Ferdinand I of Aragon. His grandson, King Ferdinand II of Aragon, and Queen Isabella I of Castile married in 1469, becoming the Catholic monarchs. Subsequently, this event was seen by some Castilian historiographers as the dawn of the unified Kingdom of Spain. At that point, though united by marriage, the crowns of Castile and Aragon maintained distinct territories, each keeping its own traditional institutions, parliaments and laws. Castile commissioned in monopoly the expeditions to the Americas, and benefited from the colonial riches. political power gradually shifted away from the Aragonese court to the court of the Spanish crown. By virtue of descent from his maternal grandparents, Ferdinand II and Isabella I, in 1516 Charles I became the first king to rule Castile, Queen and Aragon simultaneously in his own right. Following the death of his paternal grandfather, Maximilian I, he was also elected Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire in 1519 as Charles V. Until 1716, Catalonia, as a principality of the Crown of Aragon, continued to retain its own constitution and usages and laws, which gradually were adapted, till 1705, in the course of the transition from feudalism to a modern state, fueled by the king's struggle to have more centralized territories. Over the next few centuries, the increasing centralization of power in Spain led to conflicts between Catalonia and the Spanish crown. The Reapers' War saw Catalonia rebel with French help against the Spanish crown for overstepping Catalonia's rights. Most of Catalonia was reconquered but Catalan rights were recognized. Roussillon was lost to France. Roussillon is now the Department of Pira copyright. Now copyright is Orientals and is also named Northern Catalonia. The most significant conflict concerning the loss of autonomy was the War of the Spanish Succession, which began when the childless Charles II of Spain, the last Spanish Habsburg, died without an heir in 1700. Charles II had chosen Philip V from the French dynasty, the Bourbons. Catalonia, like the other territories that formed the Crown of Aragon, rose up in support of the Austrian Habsburg pretender Charles VI, Holy Roman Emperor, in his claim for the Spanish throne as Charles III of Spain. The fight between the houses of Bourbon and Habsburg for the Spanish throne split Spain and Europe. The fall of Barcelona on September 11, 1714 to the Bourbon king militarily ended the Habsburg claim to the Spanish throne, which became legal fact in the Treaty of Utrecht. Feeling that he had been betrayed, the first Bourbon king introduced the Nueva Planta decrees that incorporated the territories of the Crown of Aragon, including Catalonia, as provinces under the Crown of Castile in 1716, terminating their separate institutions and rights, within a united administration of Spain. The Catalan defeat in the war also initiated a series of measures imposing the use of Spanish in all spheres of public life, while forbidding the use of Catalan. These included preaching, theatre, courts, education, legal documents, and on the telephone. In the 20th century these measures were mostly repealed and supplemented by others, like the prohibition of teaching Catalan, or sanctions for refusing to use Spanish. In the latter half of the 19th century, Catalonia became an industrial centre. To this day it remains one of the most industrialized parts of Spain. In the first third of the 20th century, Catalonia gained and lost varying degrees of autonomy several times, receiving its first Statute of Autonomy during the Second Spanish Republic. This period was marked by political unrest and the preeminence of the anarchists during the Spanish Civil War. The anarchists had been active throughout the early 20th century, achieving the first 8-hour workday in Europe in 1919. The defeat of the Republic of Spain in the Spanish Civil War brought fascist Francisco Franco to power as dictator. His regime imposed linguistic, political and cultural restrictions across Spain. In Catalonia, any kind of public activities associated with Catalan nationalism, anarchism, socialism, democracy or communism, including the publication of books on those subjects or simply discussion of them in open meetings, was banned. Franco's regime banned the use of Catalan in government-run institutions and during public events. The pro-Republic of Spain president of Catalonia, Luis Companys, was taken to Spain from his exile in the German-occupied France, tortured and executed for the crime of military rebellion. During later stages of the Franco regime, certain folkloric and religious celebrations in Catalan resumed and were tolerated. Use of Catalan in the mass media had been forbidden, but was permitted from the early 1950s in the theatre. Publishing in Catalan continued throughout the dictatorship. The years after the war were extremely hard. Catalonia, like many other parts of Spain, had been devastated by the war. Recovery from the war damage was slow and made more difficult by the international trade embargo against Franco's dictatorial regime. By the late 1950s the country had recovered its pre-war economic levels and in the 1960s was the second fastest growing economy in the world in what became known as the Spanish Miracle. During this period there was a spectacular growth of industry and tourism in Catalonia that drew large numbers of workers to the region from across Spain and made the area around Barcelona into one of Europe's largest industrial metropolitan areas. After Franco's death in 1975, Catalonia voted for the adoption of a democratic Spanish constitution in 1978, in which Catalonia recovered a small political and cultural autonomy. Today, Catalonia is the most economically dynamic region of Spain. The Catalan capital and largest city, Barcelona, is a major international cultural center and a major tourist destination. Geography. Climate. The climate of Catalonia is diverse. The populated areas lying by the coast in Tarragona, Barcelona and Girona provinces feature a Mediterranean climate. The inland parts show a mostly continental Mediterranean climate. The Pyrenean peaks have a mountain or even alpine climate at the highest summits, while the valleys have a maritime or oceanic climate subtype. In the Mediterranean area, summers are dry and hot with sea breezes, and the maximum temperature is around 26°-31 degrees Celsius. Winter is cool or slightly cold depending on the location. It snows frequently in the Pyrenees, and it occasionally snows at lower altitudes, even by the coastline. Spring and autumn are typically the rainiest seasons, except for the Pyrenean valleys, where summer is typically stormy. The inland part of Catalonia is hotter and drier in summer. Temperature may reach 35 degrees Celsius, some days even 40 degrees Celsius. Nights are cooler there than at the coast, with the temperature of around 14°-17 degrees Celsius. Fog is not uncommon in valleys and plains. It can be especially persistent, with freezing drizzle episodes and sub-zero temperatures during winter, along the Segre and in other river valleys. Topography. Flora and fauna. Hydrography. Most of Catalonia belongs to the Mediterranean basin. The Catalan hydrographic network consists of two important basins, the one of the Ebro and the one that comprises the internal basins of Catalonia, all of them flow to the Mediterranean. Furthermore, there is the Girona River basin that flows to the Atlantic Ocean, but it only covers 1.7% of the Catalan territory. The hydrographic network can be divided in two sectors, an occidental slope or Ebro River slope and one oriental slope constituted by minor rivers that flow to the Mediterranean along the Catalan coast. The first slope provides an average of 18,700 cubic hectometers per year, while the second only provides an average of 2,020 hm3/year. The difference is due to the big contribution of the Ebro River, from which the Segre is an important tributary. Moreover, in Catalonia there is a relative wealth of groundwaters, although there is inequality between comarques, given the complex geological structure of the territory. In the Pyrenees there are many small lakes, remnants of the Ice Age. The biggest is the one of Banyoles. The Catalan coast is almost rectilinear, with a length over 500 kilometers and few landforms are the most relevant are the Cap de Creus and the Gulf of Roses to the north and the Ebro Delta to the south. The Catalan coastal range hugs the coastline, and it is split into two segments, one between l'Estartit and the town of Blanes, and the other at the south, at the Costs del Garraf. The principal rivers in Catalonia are the Ter, Llobregat, and the Ebro, all of which run into the Mediterranean. Politics. After Franco's death in 1975 and the adoption of a democratic constitution in Spain in 1978, Catalonia recovered and extended the powers that it had gained in the Statute of Autonomy of 1932 but lost with the fall of the Second Spanish Republic at the end of the Spanish Civil War in 1939. The region has gradually achieved more autonomy since the approval of the Spanish Constitution of 1978. The Generalitat holds exclusive jurisdiction in culture, environment, communications, transportation, commerce, public safety and local government, and shares jurisdiction with the Spanish government in education, health and justice. In all, the current system grants Catalonia with more self-government than almost any other corner in Europe. a relatively large sector of the population supports the ideas and policies of Catalan nationalism, a political movement which defends the notion that Catalonia is a separate nation and advocates for either further political autonomy or full independence of Catalunya. The support for Catalan nationalism ranges from a demand for further autonomy and the federalization of Spain to the desire for independence from the rest of Spain, expressed by Catalan independentists. The first survey following the Constitutional Court ruling that cut back elements of the 2006 Statute of Autonomy, published by La Vanguardia on July 18, 2010, found that a majority would support independence in a referendum. In February of the same year, a poll by the Open University of Catalonia gave more or less the same results. Other polls have shown lower support for independence, ranging from 40 to 49%. Since 2011, when the question started to be regularly surveyed by the Governmental Centre for Public Opinion Studies, support for Catalan independence has been on the rise. According to the CEO opinion poll from October 2012, 51% of Catalans would vote for independence, 21% against it, and 21% would either not vote or vote blank. In hundreds of non-binding local referendums on independence, organized across Catalonia from September 13, 2009, a large majority voted for independence, although critics argued that the polls were mostly held in pro-independence areas. In December 2009, 94% of those voting backed independence from Spain, on a turnout of 25%. The final local referendum was held in Barcelona, in April 2011. On September 11, 2012, a pro-independence march pulled in a crowd of between 600,000, 1.5 million, and 2 million. Whereas poll results revealed that half the population of Catalonia supported secession from Spain. Two major factors were Spain's Constitutional Court's 2010 decision to declare part of the 2006 Statute of Autonomy of Catalonia unconstitutional, as well as the fact that Catalonia contributes 19.49% of the federal government unregistered trademark S tax revenue, but only receives 14.03% of federal spending. Parties that consider themselves either Catalan nationalist or independentist have been present in all Catalan governments since 1980. The largest Catalan nationalist party, Convergence and Union, ruled Catalonia from 1980 to 2003, and returned to power in the 2010 election. Between 2003 and 2010, a leftist coalition, composed by the Catalan Socialists Party, the pro-independence Republican Left of Catalonia and the leftist Environmentalist Initiative for Catalonia Greens, implemented policies that widened Catalan autonomy. In the November 25, 2012 Catalan parliamentary election, sovereigntist parties supporting a secession referendum gathered 59.01% of the votes and hold 87 of the 135 seats in the Catalan parliament. Parties supporting independence from the rest of Spain obtained 49.12% of the votes and a majority of 74 seats. Statutes of Autonomy. The Statute of Autonomy of Catalonia is the fundamental organic law, second only to the Spanish Constitution from which the statute originates. In the Spanish Constitution of 1978, Catalunya, along with the Basque Country and Galicia, was defined as a nationality. The same constitution gave Catalonia the automatic right to autonomy, which resulted in the Statute of Autonomy of Catalonia of 1979. Both the 1979 Statute of Autonomy and the current one, approved in 2006, state that Catalonia, as a nationality, exercises its self-government constituted as an autonomous community in accordance with the Constitution and with the Statute of Autonomy of Catalonia, which is its basic institutional law, always under the law in Spain. The preamble of the 2006 Statute of Autonomy of Catalonia states that the Parliament of Catalonia has defined Catalonia as a nation, but that the Spanish Constitution recognizes Catalonia's national reality as a nationality. While the statute was approved by and sanctioned by both the Catalan and Spanish parliaments, and later by referendum in Catalonia, it has been subject to a legal challenge by the surrounding autonomous regions of Aragon, Balearic Islands and the Valencian Community, as well as by the Conservative People's Party. The objections are based on various issues such as disputed cultural heritage but, especially, on the statute's alleged breaches of the principle of solidarity between regions in fiscal and educational matters enshrined by the Constitution. Spain's Constitutional Court assessed the disputed articles and on June 28, 2010, issued its judgment on the principal allegation of unconstitutionality presented by the People's Party in 2006. The judgment granted clear passage to 182 articles of the 223 that make up the fundamental text. The court approved 73 of the 114 articles that the People's Party had contested, while declaring 14 articles unconstitutional in whole or in part and imposing a restrictive interpretation on 27 others. The court accepted the specific provision that described Catalonia as a nation, however ruled that it was a historical and cultural term with no legal weight, and that Spain remained the only nation recognized by the Constitution. Government and law. The Catalan Statute of Autonomy establishes that Catalonia is organized politically through the Generalitat de Catalunya, conformed by the Parliament, the Presidency of the Generalitat, the Government or Executive Council and the other institutions created by the Parliament. The seat of the Executive Council is the city of Barcelona. Since the restoration of the Generalitat on the return of democracy in Spain, the presidents of Catalonia have been Jordi Pujol, Pasqual Maragall, José Copyright Montilla Aguilera and Artur Mas incumbent as of 2010. Security forces. Catalonia has its own police force, the Mossos d'Esquadra, whose origins date back to the 18th century. Since 1980 they have been under the command of the Generalitat, and since 1994 they have expanded in number in order to replace the National Guardia Civil and Policia Nacional, which report directly to the Homeland Department of Spain. The national bodies retain personnel within Catalonia to exercise functions of national scope such as overseeing ports, airports, coasts, international borders, custom offices, the identification of documents and arms control amongst others. Most of the justice system is administered by national judicial institutions. The criminal justice system is uniform throughout Spain, while civil law is administered separately within Catalonia. Navarre, the Basque Country and Catalonia are the Spanish regions with the highest degree of autonomy in terms of law enforcement. Administrative and territorial division. Catalonia is organized territorially into provinces, further subdivided into comarques and municipalities. The 2006 Statute of Autonomy of Catalonia establishes the administrative organization of 3 local authorities, vegueries, comarques, and municipalities. Provinces. Catalonia is divided administratively into 4 provinces, the governing body of which is the Diputació Cubed. The 4 provinces and their populations are, Province of Barcelona, 5,507,813 population. Province of Girona, 752,026 population. Province of Lleida, 439,253 population. Province of Tarragona, 805,789 population. Municipalities. There are at present 947 municipalities in Catalonia. Comarques. Comarques are entities composed by the municipalities to manage their responsibilities and services. The current regional division has its roots in a decree of the Generalitat de Catalunya of 1936, in effect until 1939, when it was suppressed by Franco. In 1987 the government adopted the territorial division again and in 1988 3 new comarques were added. At present there are 41. The comarca of Val d'Aran has a special status and its autonomous government is named Consell Generau d'Aran. Vegueries. The vegueria is a new type of division defined as a specific territorial area for the exercise of government and interlocal cooperation with legal personality. The current Statute of Autonomy states vegueries are intended to supersede provinces in Catalonia, and take over many of functions of the comarques. The territorial plan of Catalonia provided 6 general functional areas, but was amended by Law 24/2001, of December 31, recognizing the Alt Pyreneu Iran as a new functional area differentiated of Ponent. On July 14, 2010, the Catalan Parliament approved the creation of the functional area of the Penedès S. Alt Pirineu i Aran, Alt Arabara section A, Alt Urgell, Cerdanía, Pallars Jussá, Pallars Sobirà and Val d'Aran. A Eurombit metropolitan of Barcelona, Baix Llobregat, Barcelona S, Garraf, Maresme, Vallès Oriental and Vallès Occidental. Camp de Tarragona, Tarragona S, Alt Camp, Baix Camp, Conca de Barbara and Priorat. Comarques Gironines, Alt Empordà, Baix Empordà, Garrotxa, Girona S, Pla de l'Estany, La Selva and Ripoll S. Comarques Centrals, Anoia, Bags, Lleida, Osona and Solsona S. Penedès S, Alt Penedès S, Baix Penedès S, Anoia and Garraf. Ponent, Garrigues, Noguera, Segarra, Segria, Pla d'Urgell and Urgell. Terres de l'Ebre, Baix Ebre, Montsià, Ribera d'Ebre and Terra Alta. Economy. In 2008, the regional GDP of Catalonia was at €216.9 billion, the highest in Spain, and per capita GDP was at €28,750, similar to that of countries such as the United Kingdom or Austria. It had the fourth per capita GDP in Spain, considerably behind the Basque Country, Madrid and Navarra. In that year, the GDP growth was 3.7%. In the context of the 2008 financial crisis, Catalonia was expected to suffer a recession amounting to almost a 2% contraction of its regional GDP in 2009. Catalonia's debt in 2012 was the highest of all Spain's autonomous communities, reaching a €13,476 million, that is 38% of the total debt of the 17 autonomous communities. In 2011, Catalonia ranked the 64th largest country subdivision by GDP. Catalonia belongs to the Organisation for Motors for Europe. The distribution of sectors is as follows: primary sector, 3%. The amount of land devoted to agricultural use is 33%. Secondary sector, 37%. Tertiary sector, 60%. The main tourist destinations in Catalonia are the city of Barcelona, the beaches of the Costa Brava in Girona, the beaches of Costa Barcelona from Matara Cubed to Vilanova Geltrú and the Costa Daurada in Tarragona. In the Pyrenees there are several ski resorts. Near Lleida, many savings banks are based in Catalonia, with 10 of the 46 Spanish savings banks having headquarters in the region. This list includes Europe's premier savings bank, La Caixa. The first private bank in Catalonia is Banc Sabadell, ranked fourth among all Spanish private banks. The stock market of Barcelona, which in 2004 traded almost at €205,000 million, is the second largest of Spain after Madrid, and Fira de Barcelona organizes international exhibitions and congresses to do with different sectors of the economy. The main economic cost for the Catalan families is the purchase of a home. According to data from the Society of Appraisal on 31 December 2005, Catalonia is, after Madrid, the second most expensive region in Spain for housing, $3,397 squared on average. Demographics. Catalonia covers an area of 32,114 km2 with an official population of 7,354,411, of which non-Spanish immigrants represent about 19% according to the Spanish Statistics Institute for 2012. About 66% of the population defines itself as Roman Catholic, 7% as Muslim, and 29% as atheist or agnostic. The urban region of Barcelona includes 5,217,864 people and covers an area of 2.268 km2, and about 1.7 million people live in a radius of 15 km2 from Barcelona. The metropolitan area of the urban region includes cities such as L'Hospitalet de Llobregat, Sabadell, Terrassa, Badalona, Santa Coloma de Gramenet and Cornellà de Llobregat. In 1900, the population of Catalonia was 1,984,115 people and in 1970 it was 5,107,606. That increase was due to the demographic boom in Spain during the 60s and early 70s and also to the large-scale internal migration from the rural interior of Spain to its industrial cities. In Catalonia, that wave of internal migration arrived from several regions of Spain, especially Andalusia, Murcia and Extremadura. Immigrants from other countries settled in Catalonia in the 1990s and 2000s. A large percentage came from Africa and Latin America, and smaller numbers from Asia and Eastern Europe, often settling in urban centers such as Barcelona and industrial areas. Languages. According to the linguistic census held by the government of Catalonia in 2013, a majority claim Spanish as their own language. In everyday use, 11.95% of the population claim to use both languages equally, whereas 45.92% mainly use Spanish and 35.54% mainly use Catalan. There is a significant difference between the Barcelona metropolitan area, where Spanish is more spoken than Catalan, and the more rural Catalunya, where Catalan clearly prevails over Spanish. Since the Statute of Autonomy of 1979, Aranese has also been official and subject to special protection in Val d'Aran. This small area of 7,000 inhabitants was the only place where a dialect of Occitan has received full official status. Then, on August 9, 2006, when the new statute came into force, Occitan became official throughout Catalonia. Occitan is the mother tongue of 22.4% of the population of Val d'Aran. Catalan Sign Language is also officially recognized. Originating in the historic territory of Catalonia, Catalan has enjoyed special status since the approval of the Statute of Autonomy of 1979, which declares it to be Catalonia's own language, a term which signifies a language given special legal status within a Spanish territory, or which is historically spoken within a given region. The other languages with official status are Spanish, which has official status throughout Spain, and Aranese Occitan, which enjoys co-official status with Catalan and Spanish in the Val d'Aran. Although not considered an official language in the same way as Catalan, Spanish, and Aranese, Catalan Sign Language, with about 18,000 users in Catalonia, is granted official recognition and support. The public authorities shall guarantee the use of Catalan Sign Language and conditions of equality for deaf people who choose to use this language, which shall be the subject of education, protection and respect. Under the Franco dictatorship, Catalan was excluded from the public education system and all other official use, so that for example families were not allowed to officially register children with Catalan names. Although never completely banned, Catalan language publishing was severely restricted during the early 1940s, with only religious texts and small-run self-published texts being released. Some books were published clandestinely or circumvented the restrictions by showing publishing dates prior to 1936. This policy was changed in 1946, when unrestricted publishing in Catalan resumed. Euro-urban migration originating in other parts of Spain also reduced the social use of Catalan in urban areas and increased the use of Spanish. Lately, a similar sociolinguistic phenomenon has occurred with foreign immigration. Catalan cultural activity increased in the 1960s and Catalan classes began thanks to the initiative of associations such as Òmnium Cultural. After the end of Franco's dictatorship, the newly established self-governing democratic institutions in Catalonia embarked on a long-term language policy to increase the use of Catalan and has, since 1983, enforced laws which attempt to protect and extend the use of Catalan. This policy, known as the Linguistic Normalization, has been supported by the vast majority of Catalan political parties through the last 30 years. Some groups consider these efforts a way to discourage the use of Spanish, whereas some others, including the Catalan government and the European Union, consider the policies respectful, or even as an example which should be disseminated throughout the Union. Today, Catalan is the main language of the Catalan autonomous government and the other public institutions that fall under its jurisdiction. Basic public education is given in Catalan, except for 2 hours per week of Spanish medium instruction. Businesses are required to display all information in Catalan under penalty of fines. There is no obligation to display this information in either Occitan or Spanish, although there is no restriction on doing so in these or other languages. The use of fines was introduced in a 1997 linguistic law that aims to increase the public use of Catalan and defend the rights of Catalan speakers. The law ensures that both Catalan and Spanish being official languages can be used by the citizens without prejudice in all public and private activities, but primary education can only be taken in Catalan language. The Generalitat uses Catalan in its communications and notifications addressed to the general population, but citizens can also receive information from the Generalitat in Spanish if they so desire. Debates in the Catalan Parliament take place almost exclusively in Catalan, and the Catalan public television broadcasts programs only in Catalan. Due to the intense immigration which Spain in general and Catalunya in particular experienced in the first decade of the 21st century, many foreign languages are spoken in various cultural communities in Catalonia, of which Rif Berber, Moroccan Arabic, Romanian and Urdu are the more common. Recently, some of these policies have been criticized for trying to promote Catalan by imposing fines on businesses. For example, following the passage of a March 2010 law on Catalan cinema, which establishes that half of the movies shown in Catalan cinemas must be in Catalan, a general strike of 75% of the cinemas took place. These criticisms mostly come from outside Catalonia, especially from conservative liberal and classical liberal circles of Spanish society. In Catalonia, on the other hand, there is a high social and political consensus on the language policies favoring Catalan, also among Spanish speakers and speakers of other languages. In Catalonia, the Catalan language policy has been challenged by some anti-nationalist intellectuals like Albert Boadella. Since 2006, the Liberal Citizens, Party of the Citizenry has been one of the most consistent critics of the Catalan language policy within Catalonia. The local Catalan branch of the People's Party has a more ambiguous position on the issue. On one hand, it demands a bilingual Catalan-Spanish education and a more balanced language policy that would defend Catalan without favoring it over Spanish, whereas on the other hand, a few local PP politicians have supported in their municipalities measures privileging Catalan over Spanish, and it has defended some aspects of the official language policies, sometimes against the positions of its colleagues from other parts of Spain. Transport, airports. Airports in Catalonia are owned and operated by Enel except two airports in Lleida which are operated by Aeroports de Catalunya. Barcelona El Prat Airport, Girona Costa Brava Airport, Reus Airport, Lleida Alguer Airport, Sabadell Airport, La Seu d'Urgell Airport, commercial and passenger ports. The two main commercial and passenger ports in Catalonia are owned and operated by Puertos del Estado. Port of Barcelona, Port of Tarragona, roads. There are 12,000 kilometers of roads throughout Catalonia. The principal highways are April 7A and A7A. It follows the coast from the French border to Valencia, Murcia and Andalusia. The main roads generally radiate from Barcelona. The A2 and April 2 connect inland and onward to Madrid. Other major roads are, April 2A, A2A, A9A, a C12A, a A16A, a C32A, a C16A, a C17A, a C25A, an A26A, a C32A, a C60A. Public-owned roads in Catalonia are either managed by the autonomous government of Catalonia or the Spanish government. Railways. Catalonia saw the first railway construction in the Iberian Peninsula in 1848, linking Barcelona with Matara cubed. Given the topography, most lines radiate from Barcelona. The city has both suburban and intercity services. The main East Coast line runs through the province connecting with the SNCF at Portbou on the coast. There are two publicly owned railway companies operating in Catalonia, the Catalan FGC that operates commuter and regional services, and the Spanish National RENFE that operates long-distance and high-speed rail services. High-speed rail services from Madrid currently reach Lleida, Tarragona and Barcelona. The official opening between Barcelona and Madrid took place February 20, 2008. The journey between Barcelona and Madrid now takes about 2.5 hours. A connection to the French high-speed TGV network has been completed, but is awaiting the completion of stations along the route to begin passenger service in April 2013. This new line passes through Girona and Figueres with a tunnel through the Pyrenees. There is a direct train from Barcelona Estació Cube de Frena Seccionar to Paris Austerlitz along the older railway tracks. Culture, symbols of Catalonia. Catalonia has its own representative and distinctive symbols such as the flag of Catalonia, called La Cenoura, is a xylological symbol based on the heraldic emblem of Counts of Barcelona and the coat of arms of the Crown of Aragon, which consists of 4 red stripes on a golden background. It has been an official symbol since the Statute of Catalonia of 1932. The National Day of Catalonia is on the 11th of September, and it is commonly called La Diada. It commemorates the 1714 siege of Barcelona defeat during the War of the Spanish Succession. The Anthem of Catalonia is Els Segadors and was written in its present form by Emily Guinevans in 1899. The song is official by law from February 25, 1993. It is based on the events of 1639 and 1640 during the Catalan Revolt. St. George's Day is widely celebrated in all the towns of Catalonia on April 23, and includes an exchange of books and roses. UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Catalonia. There are several UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Catalonia: Archaeological Ensemble of Tarraco, Tarragona, Catalan Romanesque Churches of the Valldaboa, Lleida Province, Poblet Monastery, Poblet, Tarragona Province, works of Lluís Domènech i Montana, Palais de la Música Catalana, Barcelona, Hospital de Sant Pau, Barcelona. Works of Antoni Gaudí, Sagrada Familia, Barcelona, Parc Garwan Quarterel, Barcelona, Palais Garwan Quarterel, Barcelona, Casa Mila, Barcelona, Casa Vicens, Barcelona, Casa Batlla Cubed, Barcelona, the Church of Colas Squared near Garwan Quarterel, Santa Coloma de Cervera Cubed. Popular culture. Castles are one of the main manifestations of Catalan popular culture. The activity consists in constructing human towers by competing cols castellers. This practice originated in the southern part of Catalonia during the 18th century. The tradition of Els Castles i Els Castellers was declared masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity by UNESCO in 2010. The sardana is the most characteristic Catalan popular dance. Other groups also practice ball de bastons, moixiganga, galops or jota in the southern part. Musically, the Havaners are also characteristic in some marine localities of the Costa Brava, especially during the summer months when these songs are sung outdoors accompanied by a cremat of burned rum. Other music styles are Catalan rumba, Catalan rock and Novacana picavolt cubed. In the greater celebrations, other elements of the Catalan popular culture are usually present, the parades of gegants and carrefocs of devils and firecrackers. Another traditional celebration in Catalonia is La Patum de Berga, declared masterpiece of the oral and intangible heritage of humanity by UNESCO on November 25, 2005. In addition to traditional local Catalan culture, traditions from other parts of Spain can be found as a result of migration from other regions. On July 28, 2010, Catalonia became the second Spanish territory, after the Canary Islands, to forbid bullfighting. The ban, which went into effect on January 1, 2012, had originated in a popular petition supported by over 180,000 signatures. Image Gallery, Catalonia Gallery. Twinning and Covenants, Nuevo Le Cubden, Mexico, see also. Catalan wine, List of Catalans, List of rivers of Catalonia, Music of Catalonia, Porços Catalans, Sport in Catalonia, Notes. References. This article incorporates text from a publication now in the public domain, Chisholm, Hugh, ed. Encyclopædia Britannica. Cambridge University Press. External links, the Generalitat de Catalunya, Statute of Autonomy of Catalonia, Zaniscat National Network of Youth Hostels of Catalonia, statistical information from IDESCAT, the Association of Catalan Language Writers, Catalan Literature Online, Espai Virtual de Literatura Catalana, Catalan Hyperencyclopedia, Catalonia Spain, a Catalonia weblog. A Guide to the Natural History of Catalonia, The Spirit of Catalonia. Digital edition of the 1946 book by Oxford professor Dr. Josep Trueta. Catalan Rumba Catalana Euro Music from Catalunya, Fundesa Cubed and Stitched Nova History Squared Rear de Catalunya, Guide to the Pyrenees Mountains of Catalonia.